All right, welcome back, guys. Back on the 78 GL 1000 Goldwing. I left you off in the last video about to remove the fuel tank. Boy, I wish I could have filmed that one. That was something else, I'm telling you. Boy, and the owner showed up right at the end of it, so he got to see what was involved in this thing, because after I've got everything out of the way, and I'll explain that in a second, after everything was unbolted and out of the way, I had to actually shoehorn the fuel tank out, because I wish I had the tank here because he showed up and took it already. But anyway, it has a seam, and the seam hits here, and it's like a ½ inch taller than this bracket. So there's no way for the tank to move back or forth, but that's what direction you have to go, because this little bracket here, the tank has a tab that sticks straight out and goes in that bracket. And then you basically are just supposed to slide it back down and out after you remove this bolt. But you can't slide it back because it hits the frame. So you basically have to, I mean, not basically, literally have to take two crowbars, one right here with a block of wood, and pry down on the tank. The same time, you get a block of wood and a crowbar and come right here on the frame and push backwards. So literally, I had to shoehorn the tank out of here. So one thing I did find is I just loosened everything up. I took the bolts out. I just started putting them back in here, so I can't really demonstrate. But you do have to lift this. Hang on one second. Okay, you do have to lift this compartment area up off of the fill neck that comes up through here. So you got to loosen up all the bolts that are holding that, and then you can pick that up in the air while you're scooting it back. Once again, I just loosened up this battery box so I could slide it out. I didn't remove it. It has all the electrical stuff bolted to the rectifier, the solenoid, relay, all that stuff. So I just loosened that up. You have to remove the brake, obviously, to get the rear wheel off anyway. So you just loosen that and move it out of your way. And so you can get the wheel off. Whoops, sorry about my finger there. But the reason I'm talking about that is because you cannot get the tank out unless you remove the master cylinder. So you don't have to take it completely off the bike. You just pull your bolts out, and then it lays down backwards down in here out of the way. And you see the back wheels off. This is a shaft drive bike. You don't have any adjustment then. It's just a straight through axle. So once you pull that through, your wheel's able to move. You just take the three bolts or three nuts off of the studs, and you can just slide that wheel, shake it and slide it, and it comes right out. And then this is what it's going to be looking like. You just leave the differential unit hooked to the wheel. Let me back up so you can see. And these are the nuts and the studs I was telling you about. And it just has a splined shaft that goes right up inside the drive shaft tube. And back up so you can see what I'm talking about. And it's got a spline shaft in there. There's a little rubber seal right here that keeps it all from leaking oil and grease and everything. And it just, like I say, just unbolts and comes off. Put it back on, same way. So that just swings down out of your way. You do have to remove the shocks because they're in the way of the tank. So yeah, I don't know. It kind of, I think from beginning to end, it took me a couple hours because I just, figured out what was in the way and moved it and just kind of went through that way. And it kind of stumped me when I got to everything was unhooked, but the tank was not moving. And one of the reasons is because in that slot I showed you, right here in this slot, the piece on the tank has an old piece of rubber from the factory, and it was kind of stuck. So it took a little bit to break that seal. But then, like I say, you're supposed to be able to slide it straight back, but you can't because you also have to push down, which makes it bind up on there. And then there's two rubber pads on the bottom of the tank that keep you from pushing it down. This is a cross member of the frame. So at least there was rubber there because you can push down and compress the rubber, and it allows you to slide the tank out backwards. So, shoo. But yeah, like I said, just loosen the stuff and get it out of the way. That way you don't have to take it all the way off. He's going to clean that tank. I'm going to get back on doing the fork seals and brakes and that kind of stuff, and then start bringing this project back together and get another one done. All right, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up to the earlier video about removing that fuel tank. If you have any questions, hit me up if you're really concerned about how to do it. I'll never forget the process. I wish I could have filmed it for you, but a lot of it is just kind of figuring out things that are in the way. You know, just undo them. You don't have to remove everything and just slide the thing out. All right, guys. Appreciate you following along. You got the Dragon with Dragon Works. Peace out.